Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another exciting episode of Frail Conversations. And today, as you're seeing from the title, we're gonna be talking about meaning and purpose, or purpose and meaning. I don't remember how I don't know how I'm gonna word it, but the theme is all meaning and purpose. And I want to have this conversation because I don't want to talk to my peers. I don't want to talk to the elders. I talk shit enough to y'all. I want to talk to the little homies, and I don't mean little homie in a derogatory way. I just simply mean little homie in a way that y'all are younger than me and or have less experience in this world than me. But I want to talk about meaning and purpose. Uh, we often talk about one or the other, like your life has to have meaning, or what's your purpose. But the two go hand in hand, and you can't have one without the other, right? And it's detrimental if you have one without the other, because to have meaning without purpose is bad. To have purpose without meaning is bad. And the reason why I'm saying they're bad is because the purpose the purpose provides a destination, the meaning provides a direction, right? When you have purpose, you know where you have to go. You know where you have to be. When you have the meaning of life or the meaning of that purpose or whatever the case may be, you know which direction you have to go to get there. A lot of us don't. We grow up and we don't have meaning. Now, this is not just us without fathers, raised without fathers, but also us with fathers too. If our father didn't have the purpose and direction himself, a lot of people believe that getting a good job and, you know, getting the degree and all of that other shit and being able to do the basic functions of protection and provision is the only purpose a man is supposed to have. And that's not it. But when we believe that a man's purpose is to protect and provide for his family and shit, we don't really have meaning in life. And a lot of people don't consider that with us as men because they don't care, right? Our only meaning, if you look at some of the meanings that we go with, happy life, happy wife, all that kind of shit, like there's things that never add to the meaning of a man. And as a man, you have to define what your life means. And I think we spend so much time trying to, because there's levels to us as, men, you know, we often don't find our purposes because we have to, we're trying to find respect first. Right. And chances are we're going to be respected we're going to find that respect far before we find the purpose of what our life is. Because like I said, our purpose is on the other side of our pain. And if we're not even able to deal with our feelings and our emotions, it's hard to find our purpose for real, for real. So if it's hard to find our purpose, it's harder to find the meaning of our life tied to our purpose. You feel what I'm saying? And when we do, a lot of times we take it to, my purpose is to have kids and protect my family and, be all of these superficial things. But what is your actual purpose for creation? What was the purpose for why you were created? Because when you know what your purpose is for why you created, now you know what you mean to the world. A lot of us as men, we never taught that we mean anything to the world. We're never even taught what it means to mean something to the world. You feel me? A lot of the love, Chris Rock said it. He was like, a man isn't loved. No man is loved conditionally. No man is loved unconditionally. And that's true. We're only loved under the conditions that we can provide safety and security to people. That's it. So a lot of times because of that, and in a quest to find respect and everything, we get our lines blurred and what our purpose and our meaning is, because we define it as what gets us respect and then what allows us to be in a space where we're not critiqued or criticized for the things that we do. It sounds cool when you become an adult, even when you're into elder and you're established, but this is why I want to direct it to my little homies, because it's like, what do you do when you're trying to find it? When you're in a space where you're trying to simultaneously have to develop your respect, find your purpose and your meaning at the same time. You see what I'm saying? And for a lot of us, like I said, we're programmed to have the meaning is, okay, you get your job, secure your house and everything, and then you vindicate yourself by who you take care of and how you bring kids into this world and how well you prepare them. And everything is just so superficial. It's just so superficial. None of it is like, you ask a man right now what his purpose is for life. See what he tells you. And then you go that next step and ask him, what does his purpose mean to the world? A lot of us can't answer that question because a lot of us have never been asked that question because we've never been considered enough to think that we are important enough to have that question answered. But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. Be sure to check out my website at IamJustSeen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast itself. And you know the vibes, Cash App and PayPal are just fine. So that's that for this, and that's this for that. And we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into So Frail conversations, meaning and purpose. And don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Scene about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right, welcome back. And without further ado, we're going to dive into this. So the reason why I'm saying meaning and purpose go hand in hand together, because it's like, if you do not put meaning to your purpose, you will not get active with it. Or if you put the wrong meaning to your purpose, you can create the wrong actions with it, which then ultimately leads to certain decisions that you make, which creates the residual effects that create your life. As men, when we're on a quest, young men, we're developing into these spaces and shit. Two things that we lack when we go into the real world are purpose and meaning. You feel me? We're encouraged that our purpose is to, soil our royal oats, have fun, boys will be boys, live a little, all this kind of crazy shit, do a whole bunch of destructive, reckless shit that'll fuck up your life, right? And then fucking up your life, now you have to clean that up and still find your purpose. People don't understand that purpose is not absolved. You're going to complete your purpose in this world. Whether this lifetime or next lifetime or the third, it doesn't matter. You're going to complete the purpose you were sent here for, no matter how many times you got to come back here. The universe is literally just like school. Only thing is, it ain't no child left behind type shit. And it ain't no you drop out and you flunk out if you can't pass it the second time. Nah, we're going to keep giving it to you. We don't give a fuck how many lifetimes you got to come back in here, because you have to put your purpose, and you have to take your purpose and you have to make it meaningful, right? In some way, shape, or form. Me personally, I tell the story all the time about, I do this for my great granddaughter, but in doing it for my great granddaughter was how I put meaning to my purpose. I had no reason. Like, I knew my purpose a long time ago. I know your purpose is on the other side of your pain, true, because your purpose is what helps you heal when you go through pain. Because your purpose helps you heal when you go through the pain, that means your purpose is already there, whether it's dormant, unlocked, or whatever. It just, once your purpose is revealed and you heal through it, and once you find why you had to go through what you go through as the purpose, then you can attach meaning to it. So the meaning that I chose to attach to my purpose was, the benefit of my great granddaughter. But it was deeper than that, because the purpose was, a part of my purpose with the pain was to understand, like, the state of man right now. This is one of my purposes, but the state of man and the way in which man thinks, the way in which man operates, is something that is not viable. Something that is not viable. Now, as the purpose, I knew that I had to do something, masculine, related to masculinity, in which I take masculinity to the depths that I took it, but it was more so for the own inner healing that I needed, you know what I'm saying, and developing that. It wasn't until, like, in developing those processes and everything, like, people would ask me, like, it started like 2015, 2016-ish. People will say, why men act like this? What is the reason why black men do this? What's the reason why y'all, it's a system that programmed us like this. We're not. This ain't normal. This ain't what we do, but this is what we are because of, the movie that Clone Tyrone was a very important movie, and I think y'all should watch it. The sad part about that Clone Tyrone, The one part that people constantly keep overlooking, they look at the clone of the pimp, the hoe, and the gangster, right? They for some reason these conversations don't want to include the pastor. Y'all, they're trying to tell y'all something. How are they telling you that the pimp, the clone of the pimp, the clone of the hoe, and the clone of the gangster are the bad ones? And they put the clone of the pastor in there too, and you don't see the issue. You don't make the connecting piece. But whatever. In developing purpose, it's going to be found on the other side of your pain and when you heal. Now it's, you know, we're I'm using the clone Tyrone thing to make the reference of how, the system programs us to be a certain way. You feel what I'm saying? When you spot this and you can identify it, that becomes your purpose. A lot of people will never exhibit their purpose, especially us as men. A lot of us will never exhibit our purpose solely because we don't put meaning to it. You know why? Because in order to put meaning to something, you have to have an emotional connection to it in some way, shape, or form. What are we taught about our emotions? We're taught that emotions are bad. We're taught that emotions are taboo and, we shouldn't have them and shit like that. But no, our emotions help give us the direction for our meaning. When we can't feel anything that's tied to our purpose, we don't know which way to go. The feelings that we exhibit with our purpose are the barometer to let us know that we should keep going or we should stop, we should go left, we should go right. But because we don't operate under our feelings correctly, we don't use it right. You feel what I'm saying? And another thing about meaning is once you have meaning, your purpose can't be deterred. You know what you have to do. Nobody can stop you from doing what you're doing. So I'm using myself as an example because I'm the only motherfucker that I know specifically and exactly what I did and how I use my purpose and my meaning together. So once I knew that one of my purposes was, you got to change the scope of black male masculinity. Like, you know what I'm saying? Your meaning helps. Ooh, this is powerful. Your meaning is what gives you your incentive. A lot of times because we put our incentive on money and the monetary value, we don't find meaning. And we let money be the only reason we have purpose. So when we tie our purpose to a monetary value, it it caps us off and it makes us only focus on, I'm only going to do this when money's involved. Mm-mm. When you have meaning, it can supersede that. You're going to get paid for your meaning. Don't get me wrong. But when you have that meaning, now you can't be bought. Your purpose can't be bought when you have meaning behind it. For example, my meaning behind my purpose is my great granddaughter. You feel me? I don't even know this being, but I already have the emotional connection to it. To her. I already have the, divine connection to her. You feel me? On a whole different level. And I know a lot of people are like, well, how can you have that connection for something that you've never met? And that's the point. Like, that's what meaning is about. There's no logical reason why. There's no reason why you can, even if you can fathom a reason as to why this is your meaning, it'll never make sense to anybody because they can't see it. So, for example, when I tell people my focus has always been my great granddaughter and everything that I built around myself is for that, they think it's, oh, so she could be spoiled. Or no, 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 no. If we look at the current state of the world right now, I don't want my daughter living in that. I don't want any woman that comes from my bloodline to live in this current world. Right? My purpose, you feel me? The food, hitting it raw, mastering the market, so for real. If you just look at those things, my purpose is tied up in all of those, right? Which means I don't want my great granddaughter eating some bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? I don't want my great granddaughter to succumb to the fuckboy bullshit that we go through. So for real. And I don't want her to ever be at the mercy. I never want her to be at the mercy of an employer telling her, oh, you can get fired right now. Okay, nigga. And you feel me? That's the energy that I need. Mastering the market and inflate with inflation. Right? In order for this to be a guaranteed reality for my granddaughter, I had to start this now so I can perfect it by the time it's there for her. So tying this into the meaning, right? What does the purpose of masculinity mean to me? It means that I can now solidify or guarantee that I can create a world where my granddaughter could be ever vigilant to what type of men are out there. You feel what I'm saying? Because I know how the system is programming us as men. Simple. right? So the purpose was there. Now my meaning is like, my meaning ain't, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about what some people's meaning is. When some people's meaning is just to get the bread, they'll compromise their soul. You see what I'm saying? They will compromise their soul, and they don't give a fuck about none of the other shit. I ain't gonna say no names because the cases and all the shit is still open. But I'm seeing a lot of shit happen with a lot of people on the backside who are, the pro black leaders and shit, who they schemed a lot of money out of people. And because of how they did it, a lot of them don't even feel like their purpose was to quote unquote help the black people, but what was their meaning behind it? I'm still here. That was just a dramatic pause because this is over a conversation, so we can't talk about man shit. But if your purpose is to help black people, what is your meaning behind it? What is the meaning that gives you the direction for how you help them? I'm gonna give you a little bit of information, just dangle you on a string so I can get paid off, and you got to figure out the rest. Like, what is it? What is it? I watched shit like that, and I had to incorporate that into my purpose. Like, there's a lot of things that I had to naturally overcome as an entrepreneur that I should not have had to overcome, but I get why I had to overcome it. Because I ain't do none of the shit that anybody else did. Like, I happened to come into the game after they tainted the shit. You feel me? It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to get people to see that trading is not a scam. It's hard, right? Because of the people that had the purpose that actually, they didn't have the meaning. They didn't have the meaning to guide them in a positive direction to make sure that, I'm for the people, but am I helping them? Because you got to realize too, like, as black men, to the core, when we get down to it, like, our ultimate goal in life is either to stop oppression or to be free. That's it, right? You got to be careful because if you are somebody who wants to be free, your conversation is different than somebody who just wants oppression to stop. So now when you have a purpose fueled with that, you feel me? When you have a purpose fueled in that, you have to ask yourself, what exactly is the meaning behind why I'm doing this? You feel me? Tying it back into myself because I don't want to give them too much on that because it is what it is. But when I look at the direction and the meaning that my life has given me, it's like, although it is, the meaning is to make sure my great granddaughter is straight, it's a residual effect. Because now, what I solidify my family as, like, in order for any male, any man, whatever, to approach my granddaughter, my great granddaughter, he has to be of so frail caliber. I said that. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's no outside thinking outside of that. Like, the standard is already set. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this is the type of man your great grandfather was. This is the type of man your grandfather was. This type of man your father was. This is the type of man that you can only have because you've already seen 4 templates of it and you've seen it reproduce itself several times to where it's fluid. There's meaning behind it. So I can ensure that my daughter, my great granddaughter, is going to be protected. Now, this is one thing that's creates a burden for us because as men, we're taught, you got to protect and provide. How long do you have to protect and provide? Nobody asked that question. Do I just protect and provide for my first child and now you had another child and now I'm back out because I can't do this shit anymore? Am I building myself to protect and provide just for 2 generations, 3 generations, 4, or just forever? Like, how am I protecting and providing? Because what that determines is, how do I learn how to protect and provide? Now, how do I teach that? Because now, what is my meaning behind the purpose of what I'm going for? And I don't want it to seem so ominous, but this is for my young homies and shit. Like, y'all need to start considering shit like this. These are conversations that I've never, 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 ever had with anybody as far as, preparing for my future. You feel me? OGs at a younger age were teaching me, your purpose is to get some pussy, man. Get these hoes. Why? And so for one, I mentioned, one of the things that we have is to either have hands or have hoes. And we pride ourselves on that and we think that's purpose and we give that meaning. You only have the purpose that you're here to fulfill. You can apply meaning to everything, but you only have purpose for what you came here to fulfill. Now, when you tie meaning to that, that's when you start living your life. This is not to say your shit's gonna be easy, but it's gonna be yours. Your shit's still gonna be challenging. It's still gonna be what it is, but it's not gonna be. It's not gonna flow against you. Everything is likely gonna work in your favor, largely when you tie your meaning to your purpose. But you have to know what your purpose means. You see what I'm saying? I use an example. My purpose for masculinity, I could have been using that to get pussy. In a world where women didn't have the masculine template, and here I come with this one, man. I got so much pussy thrown at me because of the content that I created in So Frail. They knew that, wow, this is just a book. This is how he really thinks. Now, here's where it becomes important because I had meaning behind it. This is why I never exploited the women. This is why the women, within the time frame of my entrepreneurship, within the time frame, there's not a woman alive who can come out and say I finessed her. There's not a woman alive who can come out and say I did her dirty or I. Yes, there is. Let me stop. There's one. And it ain't because I did her dirty. It's just how she perceived the reality. Like she started creating pages and calling me a devil worshiper and all this other shit. Called me a fuck boy and all this shit because I told her the truth that we couldn't be together. I basically told her that I didn't know that this was what I was saying, but I see my purpose and you don't fit the meaning for my purpose. You can be in like, and that's the thing about a lot of times my youngest, y'all got to understand the difference between y'all got to know the difference between a collaborator and a cheerleader. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in this men lead protection and provision shit that we don't know how to actually be in the right relationship with somebody. And we involve ourselves in relationships with women who are just cheerleaders. Your purpose doesn't need you to cheer for it. Your purpose doesn't need no congratulations, doesn't need no approval, doesn't need no applauding. Trust me. You know it don't, because that's innately what the fuck you know you're supposed to do. When you know that you're supposed to be doing something, you know exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing. You don't give a fuck about the reward for it because your meaning is the reward. Will I meet my great granddaughter? Probably not. Probably not. But I can leave this world knowing that I at least set up for her, that I set in motion for her to be right. And I at least seen my grandchild, one of my grandchildren, have it passed on to them and they duplicate it correctly. So I'm safe. Now, if my son or daughter, they fuck it up the first generation, I'm like, damn. You feel me? Now I have to make sure my meaning can still pass. But if they got it the first generation and they know to pass it on the second, I'm good. When I leave this world, I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be cool because the reward is the meaning in which I put in behind this, knowing that I did what I was supposed to do. You see what I'm saying? But our meaning isn't tied to anything fruitful. This is why a lot of our shit feels fleeting. Like as men, we can become as successful as we want to be and still be empty. Because success is not purpose. You can have a successful purpose, but you can have a successful purpose, but success is not always tied to your purpose. I'm telling you. And a lot of us, we are already caught up into the success side of it and we never tapped into our purpose. Sometimes your purpose can completely change your entire path once you acknowledge it. And I'm not just saying it because I'm the one talking here or whatever the case may be, but once I accepted my purpose, my entire life changed. But the sad part about embracing my purpose is I always knew that I was going to have to do it. There's innate things that right now that are wired to your purpose. There's things that constantly loop in your life. Themes and experiences that keep looping in your life. They happen over and over and over again with different people, different, you know what I'm saying? But it's the same experience. Your purpose is found somewhere in there. It just hasn't hurt you yet. It's not until it hurts you that you realize this is what it is. Now you know how to figure it out. Now you add meaning to it and give yourself the necessary direction. Success is very dangerous because it can feel like purpose. It can feel like purpose until it becomes an insatiable appetite. You know when you're on par with your purpose because when you do something aligned with your purpose, you feel complete after it's done. You don't have to worry about what's next. You don't start to get that anxiety of I need to do more. It's like, nah, I did what I was supposed to do for now. You dig what I'm saying? Because like I said, you also have meaning tied to it. Now, when you tie your meaning to your success stops when people stop cheering for you. That's crazy. Erica Badu said something very, very powerful, and it stuck to me for life. Like she said, you have two deaths. You have your physical death, goes on the tombstone. And then the other death is when the other death you have is when your name is uttered for the last time. Some people right now have not reached even the physical death, but their name has already stopped being uttered in the world. And they're alive. Only people uttering their name are the people that they work for, telling them what job to do. That's crazy. You're just existing at that point. Your name isn't even doing what it's supposed to do because it's not tied to a purpose. You see what I'm saying? It's not tied to a purpose. And if it's not tied to a purpose, that means it has no meaning, which means you have no direction. Like, people be wondering why, like, how men can just, especially when we're young, why we just move around because we ain't got no meaning. We don't have any meaning. We just have desires. We don't have purpose and we don't have meaning. We just have desires, and they teach us to have desires of success and power. If you look at everybody today, like, you know what I'm saying? What do they want to, Everybody wants to be a 6-figure entrepreneur and everybody wants you to read the 48 Laws of Power. What do you do with the 48 Laws of Power? I ain't even gonna hold you. I read the book. I applied the principles and shit. And I used the 48 Laws of Power to navigate through corporate America. But these motherfuckers want to use it to assert their power because they don't know their purpose. They don't quite know their purpose. Therefore, they don't have any meaning. So anybody can sway whatever it is. So it's like, at the end of the day, the goal is getting money. When you don't have purpose and you don't have meaning, the only thing that you're looking for is money. You a hoe at that point. I ain't even gonna say respectfully. That's just what it is. You a hoe. It is what it is. Anytime you're willing to exploit yourself and your gifts for monetary value, you're a hoe. Fuck. Like, it's no ifs, ands, and maybes about it. So when you don't have purpose and you don't have meaning, but you're striving for success, you're gonna do some hoe shit. You're gonna do some whole shit. You're gonna do some shit that'll compromise your integrity, but you ain't gonna give a fuck because you're gonna justify it by I get paid. When you have meaning and you have purpose, can't nothing supersede that shit. I wish I would say I did something and shit, and I know that what I did violated my meaning, and my meaning is for my great granddaughter. Whatever, if whatever I'm doing can potentially fuck that up for her, I'm fucking up as a person. And the time when you really start to focus on only doing shit for the paper and the money, you're on the verge of doing some whole shit. And it's a matter of you'll turn on your homies, you'll turn on yourself. Worse than turning on your homies, when you just doing shit for money, you'll turn on yourself. Some people don't think they're turning on themselves because they're the ones that's making the decision. They're the ones that's actually making the turn. You're violating yourself every time you commit to something that you are not supposed to be a part of. Even worse, when you don't even know that you're not supposed to be a part of. So you a part of some shit that you're not supposed to be a part of, but you're oblivious to the fact that you're not supposed to be a part of it. You see what I'm saying? That shit get crazy because now you focus and you're running through life and you're in a space where you're running through an insanity loop on a hamster wheel because of success. Yo, get to the bag, get to the bag, get to the bag, get to the bag. Fuck getting to the bag, get to the purpose. Fuck the bag, get to the purpose. Trust me, the bags come when you have your purpose in line. But see, the problem is everybody wants that quick dollar. They don't want to do what's necessary to monetize their purpose because they got to find meaning with the shit. Shit got to mean something. Shit got to mean something. Otherwise, none of this shit was worth it. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the problem when you go into success without a purpose. You feel what I'm saying? Because the success don't mean shit. That's why they give you money. That's why money is what it is. So at the end of the day, no matter what happens, at least I got paid. At least I got some bread out of this shit. You a hoe for that. You a hoe. Can't nobody put no price tag on the shit that I do, like, and say, yo, we'll pay you for this. I don't give a fuck about the money. If I don't want to be in it, I don't want to be in it. If it does not align with my purpose, I'm not gonna be there. You see what I'm saying? Over the past couple of years, I've turned down speaking engagements and I participated in speaking engagements. Some people were like, yo, how come you turn this one down? They're going to pay you more than it's not about the money for me. It's never been about the money. It's about my purpose. Fuck securing the purpose. Fuck the bag. Fuck securing the bag. Secure the purpose. Because when you secure the purpose, you always where you're supposed to be. Now, when the engagements that I actually went to that, you know what I'm saying, were me, like I was supposed to be there. My purpose was supposed to be there too. Smooth. You feel me? Anytime I was in some shit that I wasn't supposed to be into, I can tell because my purpose wasn't there. As soon as they start throwing about the money and shit, I don't give a fuck about the money. This is what I like. That shit's crazy. The money don't mean shit to me. The money don't mean shit to me because I have meaning with my purpose. But at the same time, that's not meaning that I'm doing shit for free. Let's be clear with that. Because I also know my value and my worth tied to my purpose. You're not gonna shortchange me, but you're also not gonna dangle the money over my face. Like, yo, you could be making this. Like, I know people right now that say, yo, you should do this job because it's gonna make 6 figures. You should make this job because they're making 6 figures now and all that shit like that. It's a job though. Like, you feel me? At the end of the day, it's like my thing is this: if you're gonna look at it like that, like what purpose does it serve me other than 6 figures? Like when you putting that shit on paper, what purpose does it serve me other than 6 figures? Right now, on the other side of that, those same people that would tell me that, so I should go back into the forensic science field or whatever the case may be, right? When I tell them you should come into the day trading and investing world, oh no, that's gambling, that's this, that, and the third. Cool. Both of these worlds you know absolutely nothing about. You feel me? I'm the forensic scientist. I'm the forensic biologist. You don't know nothing about forensics, and you're telling me all you worried about is the pay. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? You also don't know nothing about trading and investing, right? But your focus is so wired to success being tied to money, as opposed to success being tied to purpose. That now, because of that, when you do find purpose, you can't put meaning to it because there's no money behind it. When you find purpose and you put meaning behind it, you can put whatever money you want to it. Motherfuckers will pay for it. Motherfuckers will pay for your purpose. Trust me. They will pay for your purpose when you have meaning behind your purpose. And here's why they pay for your purpose when you have meaning behind your purpose. Because when you have meaning behind your purpose, that means your purpose is now well defined. And if your purpose is well defined, you know how to execute. You know how to implement, execute, and I was thinking another word to do, but you basically know how to implement it. Plan, plot, strategize, and bomb first. Shout out to Tupac. But when you are in that space and you now have meaning, your life is defined. When your life is defined, you know what to be do. You know what you need to be doing. You feel what I'm saying? But when you just focus on the success of it all, you don't give a fuck about what you're supposed to be doing as long as I get this money. You see what I'm saying? When something is tied to your meaning, ain't no half-assing this shit. This is why when we look at the people who, I want to learn, I want to get into the Forex shit and I just want to trade, and they started joining MLMs and shit. Not a single one of these motherfuckers said, how do I really learn this game? I'm just going to trust this nigga to give me the results. I'm going to trust this. I'm going to put my success in his hand. I have no purpose being here. When I went into trading and investing, my purpose was to learn it. My purpose was to develop a skill, to learn a skill to pass to my kids. The meaning behind that is what fueled me to be so thorough. I'd be damned if I'm going to half-ass some shit to give to my babies that they're going to need to use when I'm gone that they can't ask me for again. These podcast episodes and shit after season 12, when I archive these motherfuckers and shit, and you have to pay for them, it's because they're only for my children. I love y'all to life. Y'all have been rocking with me for a long time. Y'all have been a reason why I've been able to keep content going. But the truth of the matter is none of this content is for y'all. I need to make sure that if I'm gone and I leave this, like this is why you had the entrepreneurs episodes. This is definitely why you have Frail conversation. This is why you have everything else all around that shit in between. Because if I happen to, my life gets cut short and I don't get to experience everything with my children, they can have everything that is me still. So when people are saying shit like, you know what I'm saying, your podcast shit, I don't give a fuck about the views. I don't give a fuck about the other shit like that. Like, I don't give a, like, y'all can share it. Y'all can do all of that shit that y'all do. And I appreciate that 100%. I'm going to advertise my podcast and shit. But again, at the end of the day, I'm recording this as a time pocket for my kids. There's going to be conversations that are going to be very hard for me to talk to them about, but it's probably here. More than likely, the conversation is here. And then I can break the ice with that and say, now you can come talk to Pops, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, that's what this is for. So Frail is for if I have to leave my son before the rites of passage, he can still make it in this world. When my daughter has to decide on the man that she has to be with, she could still have a template in this world to know, nah, I ain't fucking with that shit. This is what the fuck he got to be on. You feel me? When it comes to the health and nutrition, like this is how your body is going to work. And this is how food is supposed to actually work in your body. I'm not worried about shit. Like, I didn't do none of this shit for y'all. Respectfully. Cause y'all on my purpose isn't for y'all. My purpose is for my great granddaughter. And I've aligned with meaning for that. What that means for me is that if I can solidify the life in which she is good, my bloodline is straight. And no, it's not just me focusing on my bloodline because it's a residual effect. But when my bloodline is straight, I know that I did what I was supposed to do. Because now my bloodline can complete their purpose. Your purpose is to ensure that whoever comes after you has the free reign to do their purpose. They don't have to follow your purpose. And see, that's what we fuck up with, because a lot of us, we focus on success and we think success is purpose. We think success and dreams are purpose as well. You feel me? Oh, I wanted to be a basketball player so I could do this, that, and the third. That wasn't even your purpose. I wanted to be a football. Like, come on, bro. Everybody ain't gonna make it to the league. So that means that it can't be everybody's purpose. That's everybody's goal. That's everybody's desire. That's everybody's dream, and they can get there. But when you have a purpose behind why you want to do something, you can put meaning behind it. Nothing can stop you when you're actually in the state of doing it, because you have a bigger picture to understand the fuel behind it. You see what I'm saying? Now that I've learned the art of purpose and meaning, everything that I do is purposeful. So I no longer give a fuck about the monetary value of the shit, because I know how to make my purposeful shit so meaningful that I get paid for it. So I don't do it for the money. I do it for the meaning, and I put it where the meaning is supposed to go, and then the money comes. You see what I'm saying? For example, I'm getting back into music, as you all know. You see what I'm saying? But when I look at the old music that I did now, and I look at some of my old shit, bro, I had no substance. Well, I can rap, I can flow and shit, but I had no meaning behind what I was rapping for. I literally just wanted to get paid, so I had no substance behind it. Now I actually have meaning behind the purpose that is my lyricism, my writing and shit. But then even deeper than that, it comes from a purpose. My purpose, one of my purposes in this world is to write. How I write is up to me. I could write books. I could write music. I could write captions. I could write whatever I want, movie scripts if I want to. I have the ingenuity to write everything that I want because of my purpose. Now my meaning determines how I can manifest this purpose. You see what I'm saying? Now the meaning behind it. Now I have the meaning behind So Frail wanting to go for now the meaning behind me wanting to do music is to make sure that I'm going to give my kids songs. Like that's one of the, to be able to give your kids the catalog. Like I'm seeing the power of it now. You know, we talked about masters and shit like that, but when you see it beyond just wanting a hit record, it's different. Knowing that you can do things like sync licensing where you can put your music in, you know what I'm saying? And then I make beats too. Now I can do my own beats and shit. It's different. Now you know how to make it. And it helped because I learned music prior to learning branding and advertising and marketing. This shit's just gonna enhance my branding, advertising, and marketing because now I can put it in bigger places. And I can skip the middleman of, yo, build the momentum for this hot record and shit. Like, nah, I know how to now create this shit differently because I have a meaning. The money's gonna come. My intention, I mean to put this in a fucking a movie, or I mean to get this onto it. Like as opposed to, what are you doing this for? I just want this bread. You gonna do some hoe shit. You gonna do some hoe shit. Dopest part about all of this shit now that my intent, like I own, like I have my masters. I don't even have to go into the game thinking that I'm gonna lose them or no shit like that. I already do it. I have my own studio equipment. I have my own shit. Like everything is done in house. I don't have to touch anything anymore. Again, skills I can pass on to my kids. So now when I give my kids the artistry and they said, like my kids, oh, you gonna be a artist like your dad, you gonna be no. Now I know the meaning behind it. Now I can give them the purpose, my purpose, and they can choose to leverage my purpose. And my purpose can just be a skill set for them. It doesn't have to be their purpose. Now imagine the purpose of us developing purposes is because when we reach the proficiency of a purpose, now we pass that purpose on as a skill set. When your purpose is passed on as a skill set, it's perfected. Imagine your purpose, the very thing you worked on, is just a skill set for somebody else. Just not to downplay that shit, but it's to show the importance of how things progress. So now my skill sets can now be used to enhance the purpose of the future generation. Now I teach this same shit. As men, these are things that we're not being taught as far as, we got to be the leaders, the protectors and providers. You got to have purpose to do that shit. And you got to value, you have to find value in what you're protecting and providing. A lot of us don't even go into relationships valuing the women that we want. So everything else that happens after that is valueless. I don't date no more. Like, it's crazy. I realize that I don't date no more. Every relationship that I in, like, as soon as we start talking and shit, we already beyond that. Oh, we just want to, like, all right, I'm gonna put everything. This is why I put everything on Front Street, because it's like, yo, I already know what intention. I know my purpose for being in a relationship, because I know the meaning that I have. Everything that I do, the focal point is always gonna come back to my great granddaughter. You feel what I'm saying? Every decision that I make comes back to what will my great granddaughter be okay with this decision that I'm making? Tying it back into the decision making skills. You see what I'm saying? This is why I said that is what your deity's will is, whether God or the devil. Like, decisions that you made can transcend reality. The decisions that I'm making right now are setting my kids up for 4 generations. Right? So now, when they are in that 4th generation is there, how's it going to appear to them? Oh, we just blessed. People around them going to see, oh, your family is blessed. Not that my great grandfather made decisions that prepared us forever. Even when people called him crazy, even when people said that, he couldn't, like, you got to see through all of that shit. Your purpose is loud as fuck. And if you are really tapped into your purpose, outside noise, it has no merit. It legit has no merit. Outside noise has no fucking merit to you. People can look at you and tell you, I don't think that's a good idea. It's my purpose. I don't give a fuck whether or not you think it's a good idea or not. You cannot shake me out of my purpose. You can only shake me out my career path. You can only shake me out of my success, but you cannot shake me out of my purpose. And you damn sure can't move me when my purpose has meaning. I remember when I first started learning how to trade and invest, because everybody thought, because I'm so smart, that, I'm an A student, so everybody thought I was supposed to get it the next week. As soon as I decided to get into trade and invest, and I was supposed to get it, it took me some time to get it, but I got that bitch now. And the fact that I got that bitch now, I had purpose behind it. That's what didn't. Anybody in the EWE, anybody in the flavor and inflation community, y'all know what trading and investing is like, right? But y'all know what it's like as somebody who has already gone through the trenches to show you, hey, look, fuck all the crazy shit. This is what it is. And you still see the challenge in it. You feel what I'm saying? You still see the challenge in it. Most motherfuckers quit when they don't win. Most motherfuckers quit when they don't win because they were never having the attention to learn how to play. They were only having attention of getting. Their only intention was to be successful, to have success in it, which means to win, not to learn how to win, just to win. When you're dealing with people like that, they'll do anything, and when they can't win, they give up. But when you have a purpose behind why you have to learn something, you can't pay yourself to quit. You cannot convince yourself to quit, because there's no quitting, because it's like there's a purpose behind why I have to do this. That's one of the reasons. Like, I talk to a lot of people, they say, they told me I was built different, because it's like, yo, how you go through all of this shit? How do you pivot? How you adapt? Because it's my purpose. Nothing shakes me when I'm on my purpose. And your purpose is found on the other side of your pain. That very trauma that you scared to heal, that shit that you think is making you cold and hard and shit like that, release that shit, bro. You're going to have a fucking stroke if you don't. Fucking release that shit. It's okay. Because you're going to start to reveal your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Me and my dad, our relationship is, we talk every year during the family reunions and shit. But our relationship, it doesn't move, because a relationship with him is not a part of my purpose. And as fucked up as it sounds, it's like, damn, but it wasn't. I had to accept that. Because in healing that, it was like, damn, your absence is what led to me becoming the man that I was supposed to be. You feel what I'm saying? Once you start to heal the very things that hurt you the most, you'll see that that's why those things hurt you the most. The things that just roll off you, that ain't got shit to do with your purpose. You feel me? But it's what hurts you the most, is what cracks you to your core, is what breaks you to the core, that lets you know what your purpose is. You overcome that shit, that's when you become a victor, because you learn how to transmute the energy correctly. You dig what I'm saying? And once you're a victor, the game, it changes for you. And even deeper than that, now when you have meaning, you're only gonna go into spaces where you know you're gonna win. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of people are scared to only be in a space where they can win and they can control, because that's the realm you in. Everybody wants to go and try to dominate some shit that they ain't got no control in. That's an arrogant, egotistical reality. Oh, I'm gonna go into the space. Oh yeah, you can do it, but is that your purpose? You can be talented in this shit, but is it your purpose? Because if it's not your purpose, you're gonna put it down. You see what I'm saying? The people that I know that didn't finish, the people that didn't finish the Master in the Market course, they were also the people who bought it at the cheapest. They were also the people who I could tell didn't even have the intention to even want to do it for real. They had no purpose. They wanted some money. They didn't have the purpose of learning the skill set. They had the purpose of making money. Everybody who was in the EWE right now, who's killing the game, they had the purpose of learning the skill set. The money came by default. You see what I'm saying? And then they're like, damn, bro, I got to get, I know. The purpose was for you to learn that. Now you can put meaning behind it. You can make as much money as you want to. So now when I tell people, yo, rather than just investing in stocks, just do the options and shit. You know what I'm saying? You make more money that way. If that's what you're looking at. Now when you have the skill set, you know where you can go with the money. It's no different than using the example of the music industry and shit. Like when you don't have the backside of the business and everything, you just want to be a talented artist. That's why they can give you a 360 deal. We just want you to be the face because we're the business side. We need a face of the business that can do the art. That's why we'll tell you what to sing. We'll tell you what to diss and do all of that shit. But when you understand all of that shit, you can come and say, this is what I do. You can help me or not because this is what it's going to be. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to have to figure out. Well, I ain't gonna say that because this is a part. I'll admit this transparency moment. This is something that I'm having to deal with right now, just structuring the song format again because like this is the first time I've actually been in the song mode since 2014 ish, somewhere around there. Because that's when I literally said it in song that I did. I was like, basically, when I go to med school, I'm gonna put the shit down, and I put the shit down when I went to med school, and I just realized that I could never leave it alone because that was a part of my purpose. So now when it's structured, and it's like, yo, how they going? I don't give a. I learned. I don't give a you don't give a fuck about what they want to dance to, what they move to, everything like that. What's gonna last? You feel what I'm saying? What is it that you can say right now that is going to transcend reality? Not only transcend reality, but can be applied to any medium. That's how you have to think when you're making music. You feel me? Especially from a business perspective. You have to think of it as how can this be used? You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm just making club music, party music, the most that I can be using for a song about, you know what I'm saying? Most I can be use it for is to chart or drinking. Something about a club, but then when you want to broaden your horizon, okay, I want this shit to be in this particular setting. I want this particular, it gives your creativity a free reign to play, right? That's another power and extension of purpose. Understanding your purpose and having meaning behind your purpose, it helps guide your creativity. Some of us right now, we think we're not creative, but it's not that we're not creative. We just have no meaning behind anything to be creative with. Hey, bro, for real though, at some point we gotta stop talking to women about masculinity and start talking to each other about it. And I mean really talk to each other. Not as enablers and co-signers, but as men trying to reach the pinnacle of our essence. And that's what the So Frail series does. So Frail 1 is the definition. So Frail 2 is the acknowledgement. And So Frail 3 is the resolution. If you rock with the So Frail conversations, I can guarantee you will rock with the So Frail series of books. So visit IamJustSaying.com right now so you can add the series to your library. I promise you will never look at masculinity the same again, and you're going to stop wasting your time arguing with women about it. This is a conversation that men need to have between men, and it's time we start having this conversation now. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of people think I'm very, very gifted and good at shit, and it's like, I just have put meaning behind my purpose, and now I can get creative a lot easier with it. You feel what I'm saying? I can write anything because I know part of my purpose is to be a writer. You feel me? I could talk about anything because I know part of my purpose is to be an orator. But now it's how well do I have to, now I have to put the meaning to it to make sure I say the right shit. You see what I'm saying? Now I have to put the meaning to it to say that I make the right shit. But it comes from having that purpose. Otherwise, if you're just creating shit with no purpose behind it, like what are you doing it for? Wow. You know how much you waste by creating shit that you have no purpose for? This is going to seem so fucked up because I don't want to say children don't have purpose, but a lot of us have children with no purpose. Low key, I ain't even gonna be funny. I think wedlock means purpose. Because I always, they say you have children out of wedlock or whatever the case may be. Like, what's the purpose of having this baby? It's sad because a lot of us have babies just because we didn't want to wear a condom. Imagine that. The purpose for this baby being conceived right now is because you didn't want to wear a condom. Or because you were dealing with a woman who you were fucking over and she just wanted to be loved. All creation should have purpose, and we don't have a purpose for why we create children. That's the greatest thing we can ever create. Fuck a book, fuck a artwork, for all of that shit. Children are the greatest thing we can create, and we don't have a purpose behind why we create children. Why would we want to protect and provide? We didn't even have the purpose to have the child that we just had, so protection and provision ain't even in the mind. It's just I wanted my dick to feel good. I didn't want that barrier that a condom would have gave me. Wow. Because now that's reflective of your decision-making skills. When you don't have purpose for the very thing you're creating, what does that say about your decision-making skills? Why are you creating what you're creating? I just feel like it. Wow. So when you just feel like doing shit, you just do shit. So there's no purpose behind shit. So if there's no purpose, there's no meaning. When there's no meaning, there's no definition, there's no direction, there's no guidance. What the fuck did you do it for? Again, tying it back to myself, because I'm the only motherfucker I know that I could talk about like this. I did this for my great granddaughter. I set everything up the way that I set it up for my great granddaughter. There was a purpose behind this shit. You see what I'm saying? Everybody talks about the generational wealth that they want to pass on and shit like that. But what's the purpose? What's the purpose of passing on generational wealth? Because if you don't have a purpose, you're going to fail. Because if you don't have a purpose, you don't have a meaning. That next generation is going to squander it because you don't even have the skill set or the necessary steps or the program or the rhythms to process to tell them this is what needs to be done. And you're going to have to continue this to keep the wealth going. I'm watching so many of the entrepreneurs in the space and shit building business and not teaching their children how to build the business. They're not teaching their children shit about business. They're letting their kids just spend the money and just, be a child. Don't be a child. Start learning what your purpose is. See, the problem is that we don't understand the power of purpose. So your only goal in this world as a parent is to bring your child to the purpose and to make sure that they can use it and give it to the world, not extinguish their purpose. So the child's purpose is on display from the moment they come into this world, and it's on you to learn how to figure it out. Because you're going to have to see it before they're able to communicate it. That's the purpose of you being a parent. You're not supposed to pour something in them because you failed at shit. I know that gets heavy. Don't let purpose be tied to failure either. I'm doing this because I failed and now I got to prove people wrong. Spite and people pleasing are going to be the downfall of a lot of you motherfuckers. Half of you motherfuckers don't even do shit out of purpose. You do shit out of spite. Haters are my motivation. I'm doing this for my haters. Now you have to make motherfuckers hate you. There's almost a direct correlation. I'm not trying to be funny, but there's almost a direct correlation that I've seen from people who say haters are my motivation and scammers. Yep. Makes perfect sense when you really think about it. Scammers can be motivated by haters. And I'm going to take your money and leave you stuck because you hate me. You motivate me. You feel what I'm saying? But when your purpose is to prove a motherfucker wrong, that shit gets dangerous. I'm telling you, I had a firsthand experience. I knew the closer I got to becoming a doctor, the less and less I wanted to be it. But I had already promised my grandmother that I was going to be it. I was like, she's going to see me be a doctor. She's going to see me be a doctor. I'm going to no matter what. After she was gone, there was no point. Because I had no purpose in being in that. I had no purpose of being in that space. And I never knew I had no purpose. I just had the constant success of constantly going and getting good grades and shit like that. I had no purpose in being there. Therefore, I had no meaning. You see what I'm saying? Like that shit, it hit different when I actually sat. I was like, damn, the very purpose that I gave myself for being here, it's gone now. Why am I here? Because now I'm trying to prove a point to people. Oh, I didn't quit. Like, no, no. See, that's another pride is another motherfucker. Pride is something that's gonna keep you from your purpose. Sometimes you involved as a man, you involved in some shit that your pride is telling you, yo, I can't walk away from. That you need to walk away from because it's fucking with your purpose. You see what I'm saying? One of the biggest things that we get guilted in is in women. You supposed to be a man. Women will gaslight you into staying with them when they know that you bad, when they know that they're bad for you. Be a man. Be a man about it. What kind of man gonna do this shit? They throw that what kind of man shit in there. It's like, yo, what kind of woman has put me through this shit? What kind of woman to make sure? What kind of woman to keep me living in hell? And then complain that I'm not giving her heaven. But when you ain't got no purpose, you can't find a woman. You just find a woman that's going, you'll be my peace. That's why we design. Look, when you know your purpose, ain't no woman going to be your peace because you're not fucking up your peace. Ain't no woman coming in outside of that. I defined clearly my purpose for myself 2015, 2016-ish. 2014, my grandmother was murdered. 2015, I decided, you know what? I got to do this for me. You see what I'm saying? And I started looking at the extensions of me and, going from there. But then once I defined my purpose and yeah, the women change it. Like I've not been in a space with a woman who's not aligned with my purpose. Now, whether she adds to my purpose or not, that's a whole different question. But it's like a job. You don't, when you look through job interviews and shit, when you look through the applications, you're not going to look at the applications that don't qualify. You're only going to see the ones that do. You're only going to see the ones that make sense. And that's really the situation and how it's been. Like, when your purpose is set up and your purpose is right and you know what it is, now you know which women coming into your space is supposed to be there. When you ain't got no purpose, you're going to chase everything walking because you don't know what's good for you and what's bad for you. You just know what's cute. You just know what's aesthetically appealing. Trust me, young homies, look, y'all got to learn y'all purpose because y'all are wasting y'all time with women just because you happen to be in the same vicinity at the same time or whatever the case may be. That doesn't mean that you're aligned with that y'all align with purpose. If y'all meet in the club and she said, what's up? And you took her to the crib. I know you fucked. You tooted and booted, bro. I'm fucking with you. Shout out to YG. But if you ever been in that wasn't the club ain't your purpose. If you got to go to a place and there's a potential that you can die there, that's not your purpose is that. You see what I'm saying? If you go to a place that can throw you off your purpose ain't there. Stop trying to make it that. Stop trying to find lifelong things that'll last you forever in places where your purpose is not welcome. Half of us experience life that is not even in alignment with our purpose yet. And we build everything off of that shit. You feel me? College sweethearts, high school sweethearts, and all this shit. Like, anybody ever wonder why, like, you get married in college and shit, and college sweethearts and shit, and the motherfucker cheat once you get into the job and you've been in the career for a long period of time? I'm not saying wait for the career, but I'm saying is that person was a part of they weren't a part of your purpose. They were just along the journey, a part of the destination that the meaning led you to. That doesn't like that's where the lines blur, and that's where it can get tricky because it's like you be thinking that this person is aligned with your purpose when they're not. They just happen to be on the same road your meaning is on because your meaning gives you direction. You feel what I'm saying? You got to know what your purpose is first. When I look at the women in my past that I made the fucked up decisions for, that I said, okay, I chose this, they happened to be a passerby along the meaning. The women that I curved, I was like, man, they were really a part of my purpose. And because I didn't know my purpose at the time, I fucked it up. Didn't know that I was fucking it up, but because they weren't a part of my purpose, I didn't see it. Right? I didn't see it. Oh, you're somebody that, that I should be traveling with, not somebody, because they teach you opposites attract. Think about this. Opposites attract. What the fuck you think that's going to do to your purpose, my nigga? How many relationships have you built? How many relationships have you built off that opposites attract? Yo, she nothing like me. We ain't nothing like that. What do you think that's going to do to your purpose? I've lived on my purpose and I walked on my purpose for a long time, and I've seen women not take that serious. And, we cycling back now, friends is, talking to friends. It's like, yo, you really did everything you said you was going to. No, because nothing's going to stop me from completing my purpose. And I realized that a lot of those women who What I was actually building wasn't a part of their purpose. It was a part of their desires. It's different. It's different. And now you have to ask yourself constantly, are you a part of my purpose? If you can't answer that question, that's because you don't really know your purpose. I'm put money on it. You don't even have to have it completely defined and have it made, give it meaning yet. But if you don't have if you don't have your purpose, I could tell by how you interact with women. Celibacy is easy when you have purpose. You feel me? Restrain, like, oh damn, I just gotta have some pussy. You ain't got no purpose. If you can fuck anything, you ain't got no purpose. If pussy can control you, if you can't take a step back to think before, like, you ain't got no purpose. Cause pussy is blinding. This pussy can fuck up your purpose. And then it's like, but if you're aligned with your purpose, you gotta realize, nah, man, I should not be fucking you. I should not be fucking you. Not on any funny shit. Like, we talk about, these women keep talking about, oh, I need a 6-figure man. They don't even know how to talk to a 6-figure man. They don't even know how to fuck with a 6-figure man. But 6-figure men know how to fuck with them. You see what I'm saying? Like, 6-figure men know how to fuck with them. So now what is your purpose? Like, what is your purpose with a 6-figure man? Ask these women that shit when they talk about these high value. What is your purpose for that? To be taken care of? To go back to regressing to being a child? So you don't have to have responsibility anymore? Listen to what they're telling you their purpose is for. They'll tell you a high value man is this, that, and the third. He takes care of this. Okay, what's the purpose of you being with the high value man? What purpose do you get? What's your meaning behind it? You'll find. I've talked to women who had conversations. She's told me straight up, I'm tired of driving. I want to be on a passenger seat. I want to do this. I want to sit back and do nothing. You're not fucking with me like that. I'm sorry. The fuck? Like, what you mean? You feel me? Because again, they coming off of relationships dealing with men that, they did that for. You know what I'm saying? Now I want a man who's gonna take care of me. This ain't gonna work, baby girl. Cause they're yeah, I'm not taking care of you. You're not taking care of me. Like, I need you gotta make sure you're aligned with my purpose. I don't give a fuck about all that other shit. You see what I'm saying? Does my purpose stop fucking with you? Stop when I fuck with you? Like no. So Shorty's telling me, like, I gotta, you know what I mean? Still mind boggling when I think about it to this day. She's like, yeah, I want to take the back seat. I don't feel like driving anymore. So I'm like, so what do you mean? You just don't want to do nothing no more? Because a man's supposed to do this and the third. It's like, oh, you ain't, like, nah. You violated my purpose because now I have to have a daughter by you. Respectfully, I have to look at it like, I can't eat. A lazy woman wants me to, like, this is the only way that I can see it. A woman only wants to get with me so I could take care of all of the burdens so she could do nothing. I don't want a daughter like that. Because that's who my daughter's going to become. I get it. Women love my ambition. They love me. Yes, your son is going to be a replication of me. But will my daughter be a replication of you? And is that something I like? I don't give a fuck about the other shit. Like, you can portray and this is why I don't like behavior. This is why I don't like people behaving in relationships. This is why I hate this shit. This is why I desire for everybody to have purpose before they start fucking with people. Because it's like, you got to lie when you ain't got purpose. You got to perform when you ain't got purpose. I don't got to do none of that shit. So when you approach me saying, yo, I know that you really fuck with me. When women are in my space and shit, I know that they really fuck with me on the shit that you fuck with my purpose, and ain't nothing changing out of that shit because I've exhibited what my purpose can portray. And then when they look and say, yo, you're who my son would become. They cool with that. I'm cool with that. They cool with that. Like, because that's the possibility you got to run with. Now, the shit that don't work, it's like, yo, I'm not cool with my daughter becoming you. Now, granted, you may have potential. You may glow up. You may do all of this shit. But all I can do is gauge off of who you are right now. And who you are right now, I do not want my daughter to become. And as men, we need to start being comfortable saying that shit. But we can't be comfortable with saying it until we have purpose. Because I know, my daughter, my great, because I have to look at the residual effects. At some point, you're going to come back. Like, my great granddaughter will be the ultimate fine, repolished version of you. You're not even starting to clean the ceramic right now. What kind of shit is that? And my brothers, especially my young homies, trust me, it's okay. You can feel that way. You can feel that way. If there's nothing that she can contribute to you right now, you have to accept that. Always ask that question, like when you approach, like, yo, right now, who you are right now in totality, do I want that to be the mother of my children? Do I want my daughter to become that? If that answer is no, don't fuck her. I didn't say don't fuck with her. I said don't fuck her. Because why are you fucking with somebody? Why are you going through the act of creation with somebody who you know you don't want to create with? That's stupid as fuck. That's dumb as fuck. That's a waste of your time. That's a waste of your energy. That's the waste of your fucking purpose. And it's a detractor from your meaning because it's taking you off direction. It's taking you in the wrong direction. Stop doing that shit. That shit crazy as fuck. All because we want some motherfucking pussy because we don't have the purpose behind us to say, nah, this ain't the pussy I want. So tying it back to Shorty and shit, it's like, yo, I realize I can't fuck with you. You just ain't never met a good woman. You just never, like, hey, that is what it is. I don't give a fuck about the good woman. I'm worried about you right now. What you're showing me, my daughter can't become. But you never know what potential. You're not realizing your potential. See, that's the problem with motherfuckers. They so busy wanting to, because they haven't found a purpose. They love to dwell on the fact that I might get it one day. You might get it one day, but I need you to have it now because I got it now. Like, it ain't no mystery for me at this point in my life. This, if the sisters are listening right now, this is gonna come off like very arrogant, but it's not, because it's very, the proof is in the pudding. At this point in my life, I can't deal with nobody who ain't got their purpose too, and I can't deal with a woman who, if I'm looking at you, oh, I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm sorry, that's not my problem. That's not my problem. But you never know. I could get there at one point, but you're not there now. All I can base off is the present moment. I can't focus on the future. It doesn't exist yet. That's something we got to create. I can't focus on your past because that's already happened. Fuck it. It is what it is. But the present is where we are right now. You're showing me that you're still a victim of your past. I'm not living there. You are. If I already told you about my past and I've overcame it and, you know what I'm saying, made the next, like, we're in two different spaces. You feel me? I get it, ideally, because everybody, their ego gets involved. You feel me? I get it. You can look at me and say, okay, my son can grow up to be like, I can have a son with you and be comfortable with that because of who you are right now. Who you are right now, I can project that. Even if you don't grow anymore, I'm comfortable with my son. That's not the same case for me sometimes with women. And that's okay. It's not to say that there's not women that are out there like that, but trust me, when you're in line with your purpose, there's more that are not than there are that are. What I mean by that, if it wasn't clear, there's more people who will fuck you up that are misaligned with your purpose. And they don't even have to have bad intentions. They're just not aligned with your purpose. There's far more people out of alignment with your purpose than are in alignment with it. This is why it's harder to see the right people. This is why it's so harder to see the right people, because you don't know where your alignment is at. Because you don't know what your purpose is. This is why you look at the physical and think, oh, I can have a baby with her. No. Stop. Change it for my young homies. I promise you, add this to your repertoire. It saved my life. When you look at Shorty, don't ask if she can, don't think, oh, she can have my baby. Just like, ask if you want your daughter to be her. That's it. I don't get and if the sisters are sneaking in listening to the shit, ask yourself, do you want your son to be that man? Because it ain't a matter of wanting it, because that's what's going to happen. You look at them and as they are right there, and you ask, do I want my child to be that? And the reason why I'm saying look at them right there, don't look at, in the potential, I know that I'm growing. I know that I'm, at the end of the day, you never know where somebody's going to stop. You never know where somebody decides. So you have to realize at this particular point, I have to assume you stopped. You see what I'm saying? When your purpose is aligned, you have to ask yourself, damn. Don't even ask yourself if I had a baby. It's like, if my purpose aligned with hers to create a baby, how would it look? Do you even know what her purpose is? It's like a mission statement. Motherfuckers will know their mission statement of a job, but don't know the purpose of another motherfucker's life that they involved with every single day. Because you with a motherfucker who just want to see where it go. All right, homies, y'all can keep doing that shit, and it's going to keep causing y'all to get caught up in these situations. Now, because what is her purpose for you? Oh, now she got me on child support. Oh, some people, I know women who saw me as a lick. Oh, girl, I'm going to get him pregnant. Weirdos. They say shit like that. I'm going to get him pregnant. You feel me? And it's like, yo, shorty, come on, you know what's up. But you feel me? They say that shit in a way of that's what their purpose was. Nigga, you don't see it because she has a good talk to you. You feel me? But she told you what her purpose was. And now she put the meaning behind what that purpose was going to be and how she was going to utilize that meaning. Did you see it? No. Did you care? No. Why? Because you got some pussy out of it. Your purpose can't just be getting pussy, yo. And when your purpose is just getting pussy, that's why you'll fuck anything and you have a baby by anything and you can't realize like, yo, why she give me on child support? Why? You missing the whole point because now you just put a whole new child into this world. You help collaborate on a child in this world that's never going to figure out their purpose. Because now they got to worry about two unpurposeful motherfuckers always arguing about how they created something together when they shouldn't have. You knew this person wasn't aligned with your purpose. You knew it. You feel me? But again, start asking this motherfucking question. Do I want my daughter to be like this woman? Not just from the physical. I'm not like that's cool. You feel me? I'm a handsome man. So you feel me? I'm already a handsome man. So if I have a daughter, she looks like me, she'll be cute. The fuck? Simple. Just like your daddy. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, even if she don't, and if she look like her mama, who cares? Because how does she think? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does this person think? This is not a shot in a way. It's not a shot towards the Keke Palmer's. It's towards Keke Palmer, but this is to address the Keke Palmer situation. You see what I'm saying? You knew what kind of woman she was, bro. Like the dude talking about, well, she's a mother. She shouldn't be dressed like that. And she, like she said, he slapped her ass before she went out and said, you look good. You see what I'm saying? What was your purpose for having a baby with her? I ain't gonna say I know what her purpose was for having a baby with you, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But what was your purpose for having a baby with her? And did you look and say, if I have a daughter, this is what she's gonna be? Did you care? Nah, because you feel me? Using him as an example, it's Keke fucking Palmer. My baby good for life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even really know much about this guy. You know what I'm saying? He ain't like a celebrity on that shit like what she is. You feel me? You got to ask yourself that simple question. Do I want my daughter to be her? Now I get it. Nigga, when he had the baby, she wasn't like that and shit like that. Yes, she was, nigga. Y'all don't understand mindset. Y'all don't understand mentality and mindset at all. Like, people don't just do shit. People don't just do shit randomly on the spur of the moment. If they comfortably, when you can see somebody comfortable in a situation, they do that shit. That's not their first time doing it. They not like, that's what they do. That's who that person is. And you chose to, and again, this ain't got shit to do with bashing or trying to downplay Keke Palmer saying she's a bad person, whatever the case may be. This is to solely speak on the decision making and say, hey, I didn't look and say, yo, do I want my daughter to be this? As she is right now, when she's making songs about, you know what I'm saying, fucking nigga, this, that, and the third. Do I want my daughter to become that? You feel me? One of the city girls just said she doesn't let her children listen to the music. That she just, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but you created the music. That's the art that you chose to create. That's your art. What does that mean? What does that mean for you? What does that mean for me? Because your art is a reflection of your science. That what you feel is based off what you know. And what you feel, you create your art with. Simple. So when I see what you're willing to create art with, like, why would I want to be like, it's motherfuckers right now that's like, yo, shorty is out here slinging dick for, like, you know what I'm saying? She's just getting dick down for nothing. She's just out here calling it embracing sexuality. Would you want your daughter to embrace sexuality like that? Probably not. But yet you're going to go deal with a woman who's embracing sexuality the way that she is. You see what I'm saying? And then it's like, oh, yo, you can't downplay. You stop trying to police women. I'm not trying to police women, but women need to understand that there's always going to be a comparison and your decisions are going to be reflective of that. I'm not against it. I'm for it. I tell women all the time, embrace your sexuality. Do what you do. That's what you want to do because that's the decision that you want to make. But just make sure you can stand on the consequences. We got to. As men, we got to stand on the consequences. But the major consequence is that while you out here slanging all of this shit, you feel me? You and your witch pussy era and all of this shit. Are you really understanding that this man is right now viewing me as he would view his daughter? You can't force me to accept some shit that I have to, because now that creates a reality for me. That creates a fucked up duality for me because now I'm teaching my daughter one way, but I'm allowing you to be another. We are simultaneously, and then it's because what does that do to where now my daughter doesn't learn from what I'm telling her, she learns from what I allow her mother to get away with. Daddy, why you tripping? Mama don't do it because mama grown, mama this, that, and the third. But mama, what does that mean? Could this have all been rectified? I get it. Well, people can change, but you have to experience them as they are. Back to the Keke Palmer situation. She may grow, in 10 years, she may look at that situation and say, damn, that was some stupid shit. She may, but in this moment right now, she didn't see a fucking problem with it. Before you was conceived, if she would have did that, she wouldn't have seen a problem with it before the baby was conceived. You feel what I'm saying? It's little shit like that. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, the art you comfortable, in my opinion, the art that you comfortable making is who you really are on the inside. Because that's the only free space you have. Because it's your art that you comfortable creating is the culmination of everything. Now, when people are, if you're not creative and you're not making art, it's not necessarily you have to do music and shit like that, but the shit that you do with what you know, that's your art. The shit you do with what you know is your art. You feel me? And your art is what raises your children, not your science. Because you transmute your science into your art, and that's how you build your home with it. You see what I'm saying? So again, you got to ask the question, do you want a daughter to be like the woman that you fucking right now? If that answer is no, I have to ask you, why are you fucking her? When I talk to women and shit, when I talk to people and they ask me about relationships, I'm now in a space where I start off I said in one of the recent episodes, I start off all my relationships off from the jump. I love you from the jump. You got to fuck up. You don't have to earn anything from me. Everything is defaulted. Everything is upfront. If I fuck you for the first time, the chances are it's like, I know that I can have a baby with you. If I don't fuck you, yeah. It's no shot towards you or anything like that. It's just, I don't anticipate having a baby with you. So I'm not even gonna waste my dick. Like that purpose is not even about to be wasted on that. So we're not even gonna go farther. And it's like, oh well, people can change. People can change. They can change. I hate that people can change, but have they? Don't give me that hypothetical bullshit. I'm done with hypothetical bullshit. And that's something that a lot of women throw out, especially sister circles. Well, women will really say they'll be more feminine when they find a masculine man. And they wonder why they can't find no masculine man. Nigga. It's called reverberation. The universe is going to make sure everything stays balanced. If you constantly staying in these masculine energies, you're going to constantly evolve yourself with the effeminate man. You think you're going to get the masculine man when you turn it the fuck off? No. I mean, you think you're going to turn it off once you get the masculine man? No. You get with the effeminate man because you are masculine. Now you can't turn it off because he can't turn it on. You got to turn that shit off first. You see what I'm saying? Women can comfortably say, I'll turn my femininity on when I find the right masculine man. But no masculine man can say, I'll turn my masculinity on when femininity is turned on by the woman. Nigga, no. It don't make no sense, does it? But you see how our purposes are fucked up? And see how the mentality of our purposes are fucked up? We fucked all this shit up, bro. We fucked all this shit up, and we constantly keep it going for some pussy. Because a lot of us is like, and again, now when you have the women who aren't going to make these women that claim they're in their masculine, they're not in masculine, they act like men. That's it. They're indoctrinated. They're educated. That's what it is. You become like that. And now you're in a space where you want, like, nah, like if I can't look at you and say, yo, you can have my baby. If I'm looking at you and say, nah, I can't raise a baby with you. You can be sane, you can have all your degrees, you can have all of that shit, but if you're not a part of my purpose, I'll know. And if you're not a part of my purpose, we can't have no babies. And my brothers, I need y'all to understand this shit. If she's not a part of your purpose, she can't be having your babies. Why are you fucking if she's not a part of your purpose? Because now, imagine if y'all two's purposes are supposed to be naturally misaligned with each other. A lot of the times, because opposites attract, and we impregnate the opposites of who we are. That means they're opposite to our purpose. What do you think that's supposed to mean? You wonder why the children is the manifestation of the combination of your purposes. Now, if your children are at odds and your children are just like, that means y'all purposes didn't even align. Y'all didn't even have no purpose. If y'all had no purpose, y'all had no business fucking with each other. And now it's all, I knew I shouldn't have fucked with you. I knew I shouldn't have fucked with you. I knew I shouldn't have fucked. Then why the fuck did you? That's what gets me. How in the fuck, like, again, if you looking at this shorty and you not saying, yo, I am comfortable with my daughter becoming you right now. Again, I don't give a fuck about what happened 4, 5, 6, 7 years down the line. Right fucking now is all we have to deal with. So many people don't know how to stay in the present moment. And because they don't know how to stay in the present moment, they get lost in potential. And you only lose your ability to stay in the present moment when you don't have your purpose and you don't have meaning. Because now everything that's supposed to be aligned with your purpose shows up as your purpose. And if this motherfucker is popping up and they completely go against exactly what your purpose is set for. Everything about them is in violation and conflict with your purpose. And you still chose to have a baby with him. You still fucking him. Dumb. That's dumb. That's dumb. You look at this motherfucker and you say the fact that you have to use a condom because you know that you don't want to get this motherfucker pregnant, or the fact that you got plan B's on deck because you know you don't want to get this motherfucker pregnant, but you still fucking him as if you're going to get him pregnant. It's weird. It's weird. But it's the programming. It is how we are programmed to be as men, as black men. Just fuck out here. Going back to the breeders episode, when did we stop? The only purpose that we had for fucking then was to have babies for the farm. We're not there anymore. And at some point, we gotta take a moment to say, hey, bro, we need purpose now. What is the purpose for you having children? Just so I can have baby mamas. Just so I can always have a place to lay my head. Like, wow. You don't even have a purpose to even look and say, yo, this person will create another version of me. Like, now, mind you, this is to say, that's an extreme to say, yo, if I have a daughter, this is what she'll be. But then ask yourself too, you feel me? If I had a son, what half of him will be. You feel me? Now, ask yourself this question too. If I had a son, would I want him to be left with her? This is how I think. This is how I think in relationships. When I'm thinking about who I'm dealing with, I ask myself, if I had a baby with you right now, would I want that? Would I want my daughter to become you? And would I want my son to be left alone with you? If even the answer to one of those is no, you shouldn't be having babies with him, because it's a 50-50 chance one of those is going to happen. You feel me? And I get it. Why would you want your son to be left with it? You'll be surprised, my nigga. You will be surprised, my nigga, because it's like, what do you bring out of me? Because that's what you potentially going to bring out of my son. If you don't bring anything out of me, that means my son is going to be left. Because I have to look at worst case scenario. What if I leave this world too late? My son is left in your hands, period. Do you now have the wherewithal to continue to push him to the man that I am? Have you even recognized the type of man that I am to even create a son like that? Or are you going to bring another man into a picture that can completely alter the whole reality just because you got to have somebody? These are things that you got to factor in before and after and continually throughout. But if you do it before, you won't have to do it continually throughout. Because chances are the first time you ask that question, can she have my baby, and am I comfortable with my daughter becoming her, and I'm comfortable leaving my son alone with her? Why we ain't asking those questions? And I know, well, women I don't give a fuck about that right now. This is so frail conversation. They shouldn't even be over here. You feel me? Ask that question, my brothers, especially my young homies. If you pounded it out right now, look her in the motherfucking face. The question was different for me when I was young. My mama said, ask yourself, do you want to have a baby? Now I just enhanced it because of the experience that I had. Ask yourself, do you want your daughter to be her? If you fuck shorty, if you just met her in the club and you smashed her last night, ask yourself, do you want your daughter to be that? This ain't no shot to her. She may be in her whole phase. She may be embracing spirituality. She may be doing whatever the fuck she want to do. But at the same time, that shows in this moment that you're in right now, you don't know shit about me and you giving me the box. Do I want my daughter to go through that? Do I want my daughter to have that kind of mentality? You know how dangerous that is? You just happen to be a good guy. You just happen to be a person who's not going to violate her and kill her and throw her body off in the woods. But if she has that mentality and she passes that on to the child, to your daughter, there's no guarantee that that's not going to happen to your daughter. I get it. It's different when you're looking at it. Well, I tie it back to that post that I seen where Shorty was like, she just want to get thrown. Women know which man can choke them and throw them up against the wall and shit like that. But it's like, damn, just because you envision me like that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna see a problem with that. That's a mindset, homie. That's a dangerous mindset. To trust a stranger that you do not know with the most vital, important thing that you have, because that's what everybody's doing. Wow. You see what I'm saying? A woman, she's going to decide to get a BBL because of whatever the case may be. Do you want your daughter to be that? To where when, push comes to shove, she's not going to take the harder way out of life. She's going to go try to find the easy way out and really put her life in danger because of it. Speaks volumes, my nigga. You feel me? Now you have to ask yourself, do I want my son to be raised by a woman like this? What is this woman trying to do to you? Is she trying to let you is she trying to get passes for doing destructive, unaccountable shit? You feel me? Oh, we can do that because women stop trying to police our bodies and shit. Okay, if she's that type of motherfucker, like what kind of son is that generate? These are questions that are important. And these are questions that are going to be extra evident. They're going to be answered for you when you know your purpose. They're going to be answered for you when you have aligned with the meaning of your purpose. And none of that other shit matters. You're no longer wondering, or you're not in a position of, will my daughter become her? No, you already picked the woman that you want your daughter to become. You're not wondering, if I left my son alone with her, will he be okay? No, you're not worrying about that because you picked the woman that your son can be left with. But it's all because you know that you are who you're supposed to be for both your child, for your daughter and your son. And that only comes from understanding your purpose. And that only comes from being aligned with having your meaning well defined and attached to your purpose. Stop cutting corners, homie. It's okay. We don't have to follow the system and constantly plug in. We're not breeders and not animals anymore. Take some time to find your motherfucking purpose and figure out what the fuck you here for. And then build your life around that. Your purpose should not take you 40, 50 years to figure out. The only reason why it took me 26 years to get is because of the distractions that I had over, you got to get a career, you got to do this and shit. Our purpose is revealed to us the moment we come into this motherfucking world if our parents listen to us and we listen back to them. You feel what I'm saying? Then once we find our purpose, we just constantly live in it. And then when you live in your purpose, and now you know what's what and what's not. You no longer have to worry about your type because now you're attracted to what you're supposed to be attracted to. And now you're able to live according to how you're supposed to live. And when you do decide, okay, my purpose has reached the point where I'm ready to settle down. I ain't gonna say settle down. Well, I'm ready to fully collaborate and have somebody. Now you know that you're picking somebody in line with your purpose. And now you know that I'm not having children with anybody who's outside of my purpose. You feel me? So this is the question you're not even wondering. It's like, will my daughter become you? No, I look forward to my daughter becoming you. I hope she does. That's why I'm with you. Because everything else laid out. Like I can't fuck with a woman who's indecisive. I can't fuck with a woman who can't assert herself. I can't fuck with a woman like that because I have to look, do I want my daughter to, like, you feel me? That's crazy. Because now it's like when my son is left in your hands too, like, what is that? Like, how do all of these things factor in? But all of these things only matter when you understand your purpose and you have put meaning to it. And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Yeah, that's purpose and meaning, or meaning and purpose. However I decided to word it, but my brothers, my young homies, I hope y'all really figure out your purpose first. You feel me? Ain't these women gonna be there, bro? These women gonna be there. I used to hear it all the time when I was young. The girls gonna be there, but nobody actually sat down with me and told me the power of what the necessity is of waiting of the you know what I'm saying? Like everybody say the girl's gonna be there when you get this, when you get that. You tell me that as a kid, but you don't tell me no. You don't give me anything to look forward to. You just tell me the hoes gonna be there. Nigga, the hoes here now. They everywhere. The fuck you want me to do? But then when you start to see, okay, what's your purpose? Because you have to realize these are things that we're not having with the teenage versions of ourselves. The big homies ain't talking to us like this. The big homies ain't gonna tell us, yo, you got it, because it seemed crazy. It's like, nah, little homie, find your purpose first, dog. Like the number one rule, if I can give y'all any game right now, find your purpose. Your purpose is on the other side of your pain. The very thing that hurt you the most in life so far, heal it. Heal it. And you'll find a purpose on that shit. You'll find the purpose of why it was there. Now you can tie meaning to it, and you can, either use it for your life or not. There's a lot of things that I've healed from that I can't use purposefully, that I won't use purposefully because it's like there's nothing to use it for. You see what I'm saying? But there's other things that, it is what it is. But I never got a big homie conversation. All I got was, use condoms and shit, go fuck these hoes. And then it got to a point where, yo, you can't get them all. You got to watch it. You know what I'm saying? But nobody ever sat me down and say, look, just make sure these girls are aligned with your purpose. Nobody ever sat me down and said, hey, yo, ask yourself, if you had a baby right now, would you want your daughter to become her? Wow, that it hit different. It's like, wow, because that's what she's going to be. That's what she's going to be. And it's going to cause you a mental conflict, because low key, you'll love your daughter unconditionally, but she's still your mother. She's still her mother. She's just the side of the mother that you accept. The mother is a side that you don't. They're the same person. Now, what your daughter sees that you reject are the very aspects of herself. Pay attention to that shit. The very aspects that you reject in the child's mother is the very aspects of themselves that the child would deny in themselves. And that could very well be the very thing that liberates them. So if you're looking at this relationship as a, I don't fuck with this bitch like that. If you looking at the woman that you putting your dick in as a bitch right now, you are already setting the tone for a whole total failure. Because your daughter is going to become the very bitch you view. You can't call your baby girl a princess and a mama a bitch. It don't work. You can't call your baby girl a princess, call her mama a bitch, and expect her to become a queen. Yeah, I'm gonna let it breathe a little bit, because sometimes y'all need to digest this shit. It just ain't gonna happen. You feel what I'm saying? You can't see her as a bitch and expect her to raise your son with any kind of nobility. You feel me? But again, you wouldn't even see her in any kind of negative light if you was on point with your purpose. Because if you're on point with your purpose, now you tie meaning to it. When you tie meaning to it, you have a reason to. Every woman that comes into my space, you'll start to see your attraction really emerges. Every woman that comes into your space, if they're aligned with your purpose, now you know you can fuck with, you can't. As fucked up as it was when Veronique, she joined the Snowfall cast, everybody was like, that ain't him. He need to be with Mel. He need to be somebody like this. That they was like, she was a scammer too. She was into the legal life. She understood his purpose. She aligned with. Now, when she took the baby and left and everything like that, because he couldn't be around that was something that he should have known. She was telling him the whole time. She's like, my baby is not going to be around this type of life. My baby is not going to be around this type of life. And he kept falling deeper into it, kept getting pulled into it when they took his money. And she took the baby and said, my baby's not going to be a part of this life. And he was mad. Like, the bitch won't let me see my son. Nigga, you could have prevented this. One, by getting out of life, and two, understanding your purpose. But that was what you thought your purpose was. And she aligned with that purpose. You feel me? That's what space we're in right now. We're in an absolute space where if you do not align with purpose, you're going to get, you know what I'm saying? Your life is going to be fucked up because everything else is going to collapse. You find your purpose, you know where you're going to go. You know what schools you're supposed to go to. You know what jobs you're supposed to have. You know what this, because you'll start to feel everything that's purposeful now. Everything is in alignment. This is where my mind is calibrated towards. And now this is where my meaning is leading me. This is the direction that my meaning is giving me. So everything about you is now aligned with your purpose. Everything is going to make sense. But when you get to that point, yeah, you're going to have those motherfuckers that slip through the cracks. And they're still going to talk. Ask yourself, do I want my daughter, like all of the women in my past right now, right? I said this to one woman and she got upset. And I didn't really direct it towards her, but it just so happened to be who I was talking to. I said, I don't realize that I don't have kids right now because none of these women have been worthy of having my children. And it came off like disrespectful, whatever the case may be. But I was like, nah, like I'm big on building shit for my great granddaughter. And the purpose in which I'm aligned means that none of these women have been aligned to be her great grandmother yet. So that's how I was looking at it. But she was like, damn, that's so cold. That's fucked up. Like I ain't on the phone. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. She's not in the space right now, but at the same time, it was like, it is what it is. It wasn't like I was trying to be disrespectful or rude, but sometimes you got to be realistic with yourself. Not even half, all of the women in my past were not aligned with my purpose because I didn't know what my purpose was. Well, I ain't gonna say all. I say 90% because then up until 2015, that's when I left. But they started getting aligned with my purpose. But then it's like some were aligned with my purpose and some were aligned with my purpose and some were lying for my purpose. And you don't know until you start to vet them. Listen to the talk. You can tell when somebody's really doing shit for them and when they're doing shit to behave. Because they get frustrated when you point out the behavior is changing. It's like, wait, what you mean? I'm doing this for you. Or you're not. Don't do nothing for me. Do it because this is who you are. And you just so happen to be in the space of the shit that I'm going to do. Because now I have to look at you and say, do I want my daughter to be somebody like that? Just because a man is going a certain way, she's going to go along with it just because she can trust that, oh, he's going to take it. No. You need to understand that this person is in alignment with what you're designed to do in this world. Not your career path, not none of that. Your purpose in life. They say if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. But if you find somebody aligned with your purpose, you'll never feel like you're in a relationship. You'll find your best friend. Find your purpose. Find your meaning, little homies. Like, please do. Align a meaning to it as to what it is and now live your life according to that. I promise you, I ain't going to say life is going to be easy, but that's going to be what gets you through. That's what's going to be what pushes you. You're now working towards like procrastination. All of that shit stops because you have purpose and you know what you're aligned for. And when you run across those women, when you run across those friendships, when you run across those people, ask yourself, can my child be a reflection of you? Because we know that it takes a village in our culture. You feel what I'm saying? We know it takes a village of our culture. So you got to ask yourself, do I want this person to have any influence on my child? That answer is no. Ask yourself why you're friends with them. Because I look at all of my friends as potential godparents. If I died, where are my kids going? There's motherfuckers that'll never see my kids right now. There's motherfuckers that I would give them faithfully to. But it's only because of my purpose. Because of my purpose, I know what type of children I'm supposed to be creating. Therefore, I know the environments and the circles that I have to create for myself in order to have the necessary friends to make sure my village maintains my purpose. Take your time and really understand that about yourselves. if you're my age, you're older than me, whatever. I was specifically talking about the young homies, but take some time to really evaluate what your purpose is in life. Not what you want to do, not what you want to, not what wants to make you, what you have to do. That nagging thing that's been on your mind that you just can't shake, that problem that you feel like you can't shake since you were 6 years old. Chances are your purpose is in that. Not that order that got fucked up last night at fucking McDonald's or some shit. You feel me? Not that order. That's not where your purpose is at. But that shit that you've been dwelling on for like 6, 7 years, you feel me? That hurt you to your core that you still can't forget. It still feels fresh. You got to heal that because your purpose, you're going to find purpose on the other side of that shit. And when you do, when you align with the healing of that shit, now you go and live life. Let your friendships, let your friends, your acquaintanceship, business shit, all of that shit be aligned with that. Be aligned with your purpose. And let your purpose be well defined. Don't just say, I want to help people. Help people do what? Die? Help people get sick? Help people lose their money? What it is? You feel me? Tying it back into what I was mentioning earlier about, the people starting to come out as scammers and shit. Start off, I'm for the black people. I want to help black people. I want to help black people. Help them do what? I want to help black people make me money. Is that what you want to, like, what is your purpose? Like, what is the well-defined mission statement as to what your life is like? What's the mission statement for your life? You find your purpose, you create you attach your meaning to it, and then you create your mission statement, and then this is what I can't deviate from. If you're not aligned with this mission statement, then I can't fuck with you because now you're going to affect my kids. That's the ultimate goal. Your purpose is to lead to the greatest creation you'll ever make, and that'll be your children. Now, when you create these children, how are you creating them? Are you creating them in line with your purpose or against your purpose? Because opposites just had to attract, because you had to have a bad bitch. Like, what is it? Or are you really looking and saying, this is who I want my daughter to become? Or this is who I'm comfortable leaving my son with? Because I know that if she does remarry, if she does go with somebody else, if she does do this, I'm not worried about her getting with a motherfucker who's going to regress. I already know what's up. There's a lot of trust you got to have in a significant other. And that trust is really revealed when you have a purpose behind it. Because now you don't just hop in anything hoping that you can trust anybody. You know who you can trust because you have purpose behind what you're supposed to be doing. So you know where you're supposed to put your trust at, as opposed to hoping that this person is trustworthy. Stupid. Cut that shit out, bro, and grow from that shit and stop doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Go kiss your babies and make sure they eat their vegetables. And our boys, simple. Our boys, we can teach them early, man. Teach them early to find their purpose. It ain't just to play basketball, play sports, and no shit, or even go to get a good job. Find their purpose early. Their purpose is there. Their purpose is there. You just got to figure it out. You got to listen to what they're communicating to you and have the patience to hear it. And then start to develop that. And then teach them how to stay in alignment with their purpose. You feel me? Once they draw the meaning to it, develop it from there. You feel me? Teach them about your purpose, and then teach them the process of developing theirs. When theirs is solidified, you ain't got to worry about leaving them out in the world. Because they'll know how to make the right decisions. They know how to make the right decisions because they align with their purpose. You feel me? Now I get it. Motherfuckers are asked, well, what if they fall in love too early and they decide this person no, they'll know. They'll know. If you teach them right, they'll fucking know. The problem is we're not teaching them anything. That's why we're trying to understand shit from the wrong information. Just like you can't understand Africa of the past with the European mentality now. You can't. That's why it looks so demonic. Like, because you're trying to see how it was then. But it's like, that's not how it was then. Because they didn't think like they do now. You see what I'm saying? So you can't, in one breath, brace the fact off of how kids think right now, being the same impetus of how they're going to think if you program them and if you taught them how to understand their purpose. Kids don't have no purpose. They taught that they're just supposed to be kids and they're supposed to be seen and not heard. And you wonder why they show the fuck out? They believe that their purpose is to act the fuck out. Imagine what would happen if they actually had a purpose and know what they were supposed to be doing. They'll be a lot serious. And those are the people that usually become successful. I'll say this and I'll wrap it up. Like Michael B. Jordan, the shorty that was joking on him because he was such a nerd, always carrying his headshot and shit like that. And look at where she is and look at where he is. He never forgot it. He was bitter for the shit, but he never forgot it. But the point of the matter is that he knew what he was. Because of that, he had purpose. Because he had purpose, shit didn't fuck up his purpose. Where is he now? And where is the person that joked on him? I don't even know the person's name. You see what I'm saying? But she was literally doing an interview talking about him and shit. And he was like, wow, it's crazy, right? But it's real. If we prepared our boys and we taught them earlier, purpose is not, they not going to be out here just, oh, now I got this. No, they going to know what's up and they going to know how certain shit shapes. But don't be afraid to teach them the reality, especially our boys, because they're going to have to go out into the world that's constantly teaching them about sex. You're going to have to teach them, yo, ask yourself right now, if I had a daughter, do I want her to be this woman? That answer is no, don't fuck her. This is not a don't fuck her with a condom or make sure you pull out. No, don't fuck her. Because then you can segue into teaching about the spiritual connection, the mental connections, and how this person's energy can start to disrupt you too. You feel me? People be trying to like, no, you can have sex if you don't have to practice celibacy. You don't have to. But if you're having sex, have sex in alignment with your purpose. Stop fucking with motherfuckers just because they cute. You know how many motherfuckers you fucking from a slow class and don't even know it? Shit crazy. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.